Imagine a 300-foot tall lizard suddenly standing up in the middle of the ocean. In the movies, that's where the hero shows up. But in the real world, this is a planning nightmare that we are completely unprepared for. Think about a busy coastline. You've got thousands of people driving to work, cargo ships unloading tons of gear, and power lines humming. It's a very complicated, very delicate machine. When a foot that weighs as much as an aircraft carrier hits the ground, it's a geological event. It's a localized, walking earthquake. Every single step sends out a shockwave that turns solid roads into gravel. That vibration goes deep. Underground power lines snap like rubber bands, and huge water pipes burst open. Suddenly, you have city streets flooding while live electricity is sparking everywhere. The lights don't just flicker, the whole grid goes dark. This causes a level of panic that local police just can't handle. Millions of people try to drive away at once, turning every highway into a parking lot. A standard fire truck or a police car is useless when the disaster is taller than a skyscraper. Because this creature is so physically massive, it stops being one city's problem and becomes a crisis for the whole world. We have to throw out the old rulebooks and figure out how to survive on a planet that's literally shaking under us. 1 week in, the shock wears off and the military moves in. This is where things get even more chaotic. It takes an incredible amount of force to hurt something this big. If its skin is as thick as a bank vault, a tank shell is going to bounce right off. It's like trying to stop a house-sized boulder by throwing pebbles at it. So different countries start working together to launch huge airstrikes. But that creates a massive political mess. You have jets from 3 different nations firing missiles inside another country's borders. Look at this map. As the creature moves, these lines show the paths of missiles coming from all over. If the creature moves even a few yards, a missile meant for its back could easily strike a nearby city by mistake. Because no one knows where the beast is going next, the world economy stops. Stock markets shut down because investors are terrified that a major shipping port or factory could be stepped on at any moment. At this point, the uncoordinated military response from scared world leaders is just as dangerous to our cities as the creature's actual footsteps. Even if the creature finally stops or leaves, the emergency isn't over. The physical cleanup is a disaster that lasts for decades. Think about a 1,000,000-ton body rotting in the sun. It creates a massive biohazard zone. You'd need specialized teams just to get close to it without getting sick from the fumes. And the ground itself changes. In this cross-section, you can see how a footprint crater collects toxic fluids. Those toxins soak into the earth and poison the local drinking water deep underground. Once that water is poisoned, the local wildlife has to leave. Animals that usually hunt in these woods are forced to move into new areas just to find something safe to drink, which messes up the entire local food chain. It even affects the air. Toxic gases rising from these sites can change how birds travel. Migratory paths that have stayed the same for thousands of years are suddenly cut off because the air is too dangerous to fly through. Buildings can be rebuilt in a few years, but these biological changes stay in the soil and water for centuries, permanently scarring the land. 10 years later, the world looks completely different. We haven't disappeared, but we've had to reorganize everything about how we live. Coastal cities change the most. Insurance companies can't afford to cover buildings near the water anymore, so governments create exclusion zones. These are huge stretches of land where it's legally too dangerous to build a home. This map shows how we ship goods now. We no longer take the shortest path across the ocean. Instead, ships take long, expensive detours to avoid these red danger zones where the creatures are known to swim. We even change how we build. Instead of shiny glass towers, we see cities built into canyons or underground. These cities use heavy concrete and blast doors so they can be locked down or abandoned quickly if a titan comes close. People get used to it too. Checking a giant creature tracking app becomes just as normal as checking the weather. Every kid learns what to do when the titan siren goes off, just like we do for tsunamis or tornadoes. Our big takeaway is that we aren't the ones in charge of the planet's layout anymore. We've learned that survival means moving out of the way and building smarter, proving that even with giants walking the Earth, human engineering can find a way to keep us going in the gaps they leave behind.